Jai Hind everyone, myself Amrita Tiwari, Assistant Professor, Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. Today, my seminar topic is main memory. So we will see what is in a main memory. We will define what is main memory. We will see what are its types. So let's see. So in my PPT, there are the contents. What are the contents? What we will see. We will define what is the main memory. Then we will see what is the types of main memory, that is RAM and ROM. We will see how we will design a RAM and ROM chip. And last we will see the memory address mapping. First of all, we should know what is a memory and what is main memory. So a memory unit is a collection of a storage unit or a device together. The memory unit stores the binary information in the form of bytes. So the memory unit can directly communicate with the CPU, auxiliary, and a cache memory is known as main memory. So why we are saying it's main memory. So that's why, because it can directly communicate with the CPU, auxiliary, and cache memory. In memory hierarchy, it comes in third level. First, we have a register, which is a fastest storage device, then a cache, and then we have a main memory. It is relatively fast and large memory, but it is smaller than a secondary storage. So it is a central storage unit of a computer system. That's why we say it is a central storage of a computer system, because it comes in between the cache memory, register, and the secondary memory. So main memory is made up of RAM and ROM. As we know, what is RAM and ROM? RAM, random access memory, and ROM, read-only memory. We know the qualities of this. We know the characteristics of the RAM and ROM. RAM is a volatile in nature and ROM is non-volatile in nature. So let's see briefly about the RAM chips. What are the RAM chips? So in RAM chip, how we build a RAM chip? Suppose we have a RAM chip of 128 into 8 RAM chip. So what is 128 into 8? Means 120 in a RAM chip there is 128 memory locations and 8 is the size of each words. So and how we will design a RAM chip? So in RAM chip, as we know, it is used for both read and write operations. So we have one read and one write input also, and as we know, that is 128 into RAM, 128 into 8 RAM chip size. So we have one address bus also. So how we will calculate that address of the memory? We will define, as we know, it is 128. So 2 power 7. So 7 is our memory address memory. So let's see. This is the block. So what we are seeing in this block? We are seeing a chip select 1, chip select 2, 2 inputs, read and write, and one 7-bit address, memory address, that we already know how we get this 7 by 128, that is 2 power 7. Chip 1 and chip 2. What is chip 1 select and chip select 2? These are used because sometimes we need more than one RAM chips to build with the ROM a memory. So to select among the different RAMs, if there is RAM 1, RAM 2, RAM 3, to among these, which one is to be chosen? That's why we use chip select 1 and chip select 2. For chip select 1, CS1, let's say, it is always, the value is always highly active 1. And for chip select 2, it is highly active 0. It is always low and CS1 is always high. That's why we write this in this way. And we have one 7-bit address, as we have seen. And we are seeing here 8-bit data bus. What is 8-bit data bus? For read and write operation, we are having one 8-bit data bus. What is the nature of this? It is bidirectional. Bidirectional. Why it is bidirectional? Why it is bidirectional? Because we are doing two control inputs. We are having read and we also have a write operations. So that's why the 8-bit data bus is in bidirectional in nature. And how we are getting this 8-bit data bus? With the help of tri-state buffer. We have studied this with the help of tri-state buffer. As we know, what is tri-state buffer? We have three states. So let's see the functional table, how it works, the RAM chip, how it works. As you see, chip select S1, chip select 2, read and write. There are 4 inputs. This is a memory function and this defines the state of the data bus. So, as I told you earlier, it will only work when chip select 1 is 1 and chip select 2 is 0. That's only the condition it will work. If it is not, if this condition not fulfilled, we have a high impedance state because we are using a tri-state buffer. So, if the input is 0, 0, there is input 0, 0 and we are not having any read or write operation here. There is no read and write operation here, then it is a high impedance state. Again, if we have 0 in CS1 and in CS2, we have 1. Again, the condition doesn't fulfill. So, again here, it is in a high impedance state. Here, 1, 0. The condition fulfilled because chip select 1 is 1 and chip select 2 is 0. But there is no read and write operation also. So that's in this case also there is a high impedance state. Again in 1, 0, condition fulfilled, but we are having a 1 in a write input. So that means we are having a write. We are inputting a write operation. That means we are input data to RAM. We are giving data to RAM. Again in 1, 0, if we have 1 input, if we have 1 in our read and write, in write we have 0. That means we are having a write operation. That is output data from the RAM to the RAM. Again if this 1, 1, again the condition doesn't fulfill because chip select 1 is to be 1 and chip select 2 is to be 0. But the condition doesn't fulfill. Then again we have a high impedance state. So we can say in this 3 only, we can have our desired data because the chip select 1 is 1 and in chip select 2 is 0. So this is the RAM chip. Let's see what is the ROM chip. So ROM chip, like the RAM chip also only, we can build a ROM chip also. There is also a chip select 1 and chip select 2, but we have only one input as a read because it is a read only memory. So in read only memory, we don't have a write operation. We only do a read operation. So let's see the block diagram of ROM chip. So this is the block diagram of ROM chip of size 512 into 8. So that means we have 512 memory words in our ROM chip and of size 8. So chip select 1, that is we considered is a 1. Chip select 2, it should be 0 and only we have read operation. So we don't have to show here. We can show here, but it is not necessary because it is already, we know that ROM only do a read operation. And 9-bit address. How we will get this 9-bit address? Because we are using 512 into 8 ROM. The size of the ROM chip is 512. That is 512 is equal to 2's power 9. So the address of this ROM chip will be a 9-bit, and we will get the 8-bit data bus. But in this, it will be a unidirectional. It will be a unidirectional because we are doing only a read operation. So there is two difference in RAM and ROM chip. We are using here a read and write operation, and the address bit is 7-bit, and the data bus is a bidirectional. Whereas in ROM chip, we are doing only a read operation, and our address bit is of 9-bit because the size is 512 into 8, and the data bus we are getting is a unidirectional because we are doing only a read memory. So let's see how they are all connected with the CPU. How we connect the RAM and ROM chips. So to connect to connect the RAM and ROM, we use a memory address mapping. So what is memory address map? It is a pictorial representation of assigned address space for each chip in the system. Let's suppose we will take one example. Let's suppose we are having the RAM of 512 bytes and ROM of 512 bytes also. See, and one chip RAM is of 128 byte. Similarly, the ROM chip is 512 byte. One ROM chip is of 512 byte. So we have to calculate how number of the RAM chips and number of the ROM chips required. How we will define it? With the help of these two formula. The number of RAM chips we required is total capacity of RAM divided by the capacity of the single chip. As we defined in this example, the total capacity of RAM is 512, and one chip, capacity of one single chip is 128 bytes. That is 128 bytes. That is, we need 4 RAM chip in this example. Similarly, how many number of ROM chips we required in this example? The capacity of the total capacity of RAM is ROM is 512, and single chip, for the single chip capacity is also 512 bytes. 512 bytes. That is one chip. So in this example, we clearly understand the number of RAM chips we required is 4 and number of ROM chips we required is 1 in this example. So let's see how we map this 4 RAM and 1 ROM chip. How we map this. So this is the RAM and ROM chip. So this is the functional table, how we are going to address the different RAMs and ROM. These are the hexadecimal address for the different RAM and ROM. This is the address bus. So as you know, for the RAM, for a single RAM chip, the size is 128 into 8 and the address bus is of 7-bit. So from 1 to 7, we are having the address bit of RAM, as you are seeing here, this. All are crossed because they are showing the address bus of the different RAM 1, RAM 2, RAM 3 and RAM 4. Similarly, for the ROM, we are using 512 into 8 ROM. Single chip is also 512 into 8 and the address bit is of 9-bit. So, we are using from 1 to 9 the address bit of ROM. Clear? So, now the question arises, how we will be choosing among these different RAMs, how we will decide which RAM is to be chosen. How we will decide? We will decide with the help of 9 and 8th bit. 9 and 8th bit. How? If for the RAM 1, if the 9 and 8 bit is 0, 0, we will be choosing the RAM 1. Similarly, for if RAM 2, the 9 and 8 bit should be 0, 1. For RAM 3, the 9th and 8th bit should be 1, 0. For RAM 4, the 9 and 8th bit should be 1, 1. So this is how we are going to choose among these 4 RAMs. We will be using a decoder. We will be seeing the how the whole diagram, but here how we will be choosing among these 4 RAMs with the help of 9 and 8. There will be a decoder of 2 into 4. Similarly, if we want to choose between the RAM and ROM, how will we be choosing it? Between the RAM and ROM, then we will be using the 10th bit. But we are showing in 10th bit. If the 10th bit is 0, that is 0, then we will be choosing the RAM bit. If the 10th bit is 1, then we will be choosing the ROM. Clear? So, from this functional table, we understand from 1 to 7 is the address of the RAM, from 1 to 9 is the address of the ROM, and among the 9 and 8 bit, we will be choosing with the help of 9 and 8 bit, we will be choosing different RAM which should be chosen, and with the help of 10th bit, we will be choosing between the RAM and a ROM. So the question arises, how we will be getting this hexadecimal address? How we will be getting this? So, as you seeing this is 000-007F. So this 000 is a starting bit, starting address, and 007F is a ending address. Similarly, in every address, the first one is the starting address and the last one is the ending address. So how we are getting this? So let's see how we are getting this. As you know, this is a hexadecimal address. That means 16. We are starting from 1. So we will be choosing from 1 to 16. If we are starting from 0, from the 0 bit, then it will be 0 to 15. But here we are starting from 1. So number of bits should be from 1 to 16. So let's see how we are getting this hexadecimal address. Let's suppose for RAM 1. For RAM 1, the 9th and the 8th bit is 0, 0 and 10th bit is also a 0. So it is a hexadecimal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. These are because we are addressing in a hexadecimal, so 1 to 16. So starting address and ending address. As we are know, from 1 to 7, what is from 1 to 7? The address bit of RAM 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay. 9th and 8th bit is for the RAM 1. For the RAM 1 is 0, 0. 10th bit is also 0. And from 1 to 16, there is no use of it. So we will be considered at 0. 0. This is the starting bit. This is the starting address. Starting address. Similarly, for the ending address, what we will be doing? We will be doing for the ending address from 1 to 7, it will be 1, 1, 1, 1. That is 1. For 9 and 8 bit, for the RAM 1 is 0, 0. For 10th bit, it also a 0. And from 11 to 16, it will be all 0 only because there is of no use. So, how we will define in a hexadecimal? As we know, from converting data from binary to hexadecimal, we will be making the pair of 4. So, we will be making the pair of 4. See, so the starting address is 0, here 0, 0, 0, and it is also a 0. And ending address will be 0, 0, this is 8, and this is F, 15. So in hexadecimal, we represent 15 as F. So this is the hexadecimal address for the RAM 1. Understand? So similarly for RAM 2, what we are having in 9 and 8th bit, 0, 1, 0, 1. So it will be 1, here will be a 1, there will be a change in a bit, and according to it, we will be getting the hexadecimal address. For RAM 3, the 9th and the 8th bit is 10, so we will change accordingly. For the RAM 4, it will be a 11. Let's see for the ROM. Sorry, it is of 7. I have wrong. It is 7. For the ROM bit, as you know, for the ROM bit from 1 to 9, it is a address from 1 to 9. From 1 to 9, it is a starting address. For 10th bit, so for the 10th bit, we are choosing a RAM, so that is 1. And from 11 to 16, this is of no use, so it will be a 0, 0. Similarly, the ending bit will be 10th bit will be 1. And from 1 to 9th, ending bit will be 1, 1, 1, like we have done in RAM for the RAM. Then we will be making the 4, 4 groups. So what we are getting the starting address? What we are getting 0, 2, 0 and 0. And ending address 0, 1 and 2, 3. This is F and this is F. So we are getting this a RAM address. This, let's see, 020003 FF. 020003 FF. Get it? So this is how we are calculating this hexadecimal addresses. So now let's see the memory connection of this RAM, 4 RAMs and 1 ROM chip. How we are doing the memory connection to CPU. As you know, from 1 to 7 for the RAM, for the all 4 RAM. This is RAM 1, RAM 2, RAM 3, RAM 4. And this is ROM. From 1 to 4 RAM, from 1 to 7 is a address, because it is of 128 into 8. The size of all 1 chip is 128 into 8. So from 1 to 7 is a address of 7 bit. From in 9 and 8 bit, what we are doing, we have seen in hexadecimal in this. We are seeing in hexadecimal functional table. For 9th and 8 bit, we will be deciding which RAM is to be chosen. So we will be taking a one decoder of 2 into 4, because there is 2 inputs and 4 outputs. So we will be choosing 2 into 4 decoder, 9 in a 9th and 8th bit, which will be choose a RAM 1, RAM 2, RAM 3, RAM 4, which will be chosen. We will decide from 9th and 8th bit. For 10th bit, among 10th bit, it is also joined with 10th bit. It is joined with a ROM. So with the help of 10th bit, will we be deciding the RAM bit is choosing or a ROM bit is choosing. So for read and write operation, all are connected with the RAM, all are connected with the different RAMs, read and write, and only the read operation is connected with the ROM, because we know we are only doing the read memory in the ROM chip. So this is how we are doing the memory address mapping with the help of different RAM and ROMs. Thank you.